hey, you guys got lucky.
Right.
And again, the first thought was, hey man, if this is luck, I don't want it.
People ask me all the time, like, hey, do you ever take days off? And my answer is, I take days off. I don't schedule them, but days off happen. Why? Because life happens, right? Sick kid, water heater breaks, car has a flat tire, can't get where I'm supposed to be. Boom, guess what? You just bought yourself a day, a downtime. Now, like travel day, if you got, I get some flights that are, whatever, they can leave here at 6:15 in the morning from San Diego. And sometimes I had a late night. For me to get up at 3:30 to get a workout in, it's actually counterproductive. I'm smoking myself. So then I'll be like, okay, guess what? You just got a day off. You just can't. That being said, people also ask me, what do you do when you're sick? What do you do when you're tired? You know what? And this is a real simple answer. You can't. Rudy, you were just telling me, you didn't have a chance to work out today. You're in the room over there doing push-ups. Why? Do what you can. You maintain that discipline. People want to sleep in on the weekends. Negative! Negative! Don't sleep in on the weekends. The weekends is when you gotta hold the line. The weekends when you gotta hold the line. If you sleep in on the weekend until 5:45, well then guess what? At night, all of a sudden you have a little extra energy, so you stay up a little later. So then Sunday morning, you sleep in until 6:30. Now Monday rolls around, that alarm goes off at 4:30, and you don't feel like doing it. You start to down spiral, right? Now, hey, people, look, don't get me wrong, all right? You gotta sleep. You gotta sleep. Sleep is very healthy. It's good for you. What I am saying, you don't need to get up at 4:30. You don't need to do that. People have different schedules. You got your life going on. You got to figure out what works for you. But I am absolutely saying don't be lazy. I am absolutely saying get on a regular pattern and maintain that pattern to the best of your ability.
How do we make good decisions? Well, number one, making correct decisions. You got to study. You got to know and understand. You got to know the background. You got to know the historical outcomes of equivalent type decisions that have happened in the past, like similar situations. And if you know the history and you know the background, then you can use those to assess the current situation you're in. And then once you assess the decisions that you can make, assess the possible actions that you can take, and then assess the outcomes that those decisions will have, those actions will have. And when you're doing that, you also have to assess the possibilities of inaction. So a lot of times people forget that one. They don't know if they should do A or B. What they forget is there's also, what if I don't do either? What's going to happen? Sometimes not doing either is good. A lot of times not doing either is bad. So you got A or B. What should you do? Maybe sometimes you got to pick A or B. Sometimes, occasionally, it's better not to do anything, and you wait and let the situation develop a little bit more. So the point of this is whatever you can know beforehand, you know. You learn, you study, you understand, you know the standard operating procedures, you know what variations have been made on the standard operating procedures, and that's how you go forward and you execute. As a leader, you have to be balanced, right? You have to be balanced. So let's just take humility and ego, because we're looking for people that are humble. But at the same time, you can have someone that's so humble that they lack confidence. That's bad. On the other side of that spectrum, you can have someone that's so confident that they're overconfident, their ego's big, and they don't listen to anyone else. Where do you want to be? You want to be balanced, somewhere in the middle. I talked about the fact that you need to be articulate as a leader. That's great. Can you be a leader that talks so much that people stop listening to you? The other end of the spectrum is you are a leader that doesn't say enough, and now the team doesn't know what direction they're supposed to be going in. So where do you want to be? You want to be somewhere in the middle. You want to be balanced. Make your luck.
Yeah.
You got to make your luck, and if you make it, if you keep putting forth the maximal effort, that luck's going to come. You're going to make your luck happen. That actually, when Task Unit Bruiser came home from Iraq, there was people were like, oh, you guys got super lucky on that deployment because we got a lot of action, right? Mm-hmm. And there was two immediate thoughts behind that. Was number one, hey, first of all, we lost our bros. There's nothing lucky about that. Was the first immediate thought in my head. Was hey man, because the bottom line is SEALs want to go into combat. Bad. And that's just a broad statement. And so when we came home, had been in a lot of combat and killed a lot of bad guys, and people were kind of saying, hey, you guys got lucky. And again, the first thought was, hey man, if this is luck, I don't want it. The second thought was just like the same thing. Like, oh, we got lucky. We didn't like crush ourselves into work up and try and be the most, prepared we could be, and then get overseas and then form relationships with all the conventional forces and do good work for them and continue to, just go as hard as we could the whole time. No, that didn't have anything to do with it. It was just luck, and it kind of fell into our lap. But, of course, just nod your head and say, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, good times. So luck is definitely a part of it. A little part. Because was I lucky to be in Ramadi? Because I could have deployed a year later, and a year later Ramadi was pacified. So is there luck there? There absolutely is. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to sound arrogant, but luck is a part. It's like footlocks. It's like heel hooks.
Sure.
They're a part of the game. They're not a game changer.
Right. What is the difference between an excuse and a reason?
Kind of a good question, right?
Sure.
Okay. And the reason it's a good question is because there can be legitimate reasons why things happen, right? And so, for instance, you're in a sailing race, right? In a sailboat, and the mast snaps in half, and now you don't win the race. But I mean, the mast snapped. What can you do about that? Or the horrible weather rolls in, and you can't launch your aircraft, so you can't go on your mission. You can't control the weather, so what's up? That's a reason. Or you get really sick, so you can't compete in a competition. That's a reason. You're sick. Or you do bad because you were sick. It's a reason, could be called. Now you could look at the situation and say, okay, if I'm going to take ownership of this, did I properly test the mast? Sure. Did I?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Did we have a ground-based plan for the operation in case the weather came in, we were going to take vehicles instead? Right?
Yeah.
That would work. If you get sick before the competition, maybe you ask yourself, were you resting properly? Were you eating properly going into the competition so you wouldn't get sick? You could address that, correct?
Yes, sir.
So you can still take ownership of things even if the initial reaction is like, oh, you can't control that. Well, then you can influence it. You could mitigate it, right? Now, can there still be legitimate reasons? Yes, there can. And for me, the difference, the line between an excuse and a reason is a reason you have zero control over. You just have zero control over something happening. Well, that's a reason. Did I tell you I was almost late the other day for something?
No.
Because this is borderline. I had an appointment at 10 o'clock. I left. It was a 20-minute drive. I left an hour. I left about 9:10. I left 50 minutes to drive 20 minutes. Just so gonna make it on time.
Yeah.
I get on the road, basically a couple roads out of my house, and the one entry way to get on the freeway is locked down.
Like incident, like isolate some incident. Went on,
a guy trying to kill himself on a bridge.
Yeah.
Shut the road down. So no one's going on the highway. So what is it? Everyone's being channelized into marginal, what are they called? Back side streets.
Yeah.
Detours, rerouted.
Yeah.
The clock is ticking. And I made it, right? I made it. I was 4 minutes. I had 4 minutes to spare. So instead of it taking 20 minutes, it took 46 minutes. It took more than twice as long. That could be, a fairly legitimate reason. Now, luckily, I always, I had planned that there could be something out of my control and it might take even longer. And that's why I leave early to go to an appointment or a situation like that. So I could have also checked the traffic prior to leaving and taken a completely different route. That would have been, I blame myself. So even in that situation, I was thinking the whole time, why didn't I check the traffic before I left? I knew this could have happened.